Hello everybody, Teagan here with High Point. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of What is in the Night Sky this month. Tonight I'm going to be taking you on a beautiful tour of the night sky in the month of September. Tonight we're going to be visiting several deep sky objects like galaxies, star cluster, maybe even some nebula, and then we're going to bring it closer to home and see what the moon and the planets are up to this month. So as always, let's buckle in and see what's really out there. So tonight we're going to start our tour off close to home. We're going to see what the moon and the planets are up to this month. Mercury is too close to the sun to be visible, but Mars clings in the west-southwest horizon and appears near Spica in Virgo from the 4th to the 21st. Look for them at around 20 minutes after sunset. They're closest on the 12th and on the 13th, and a crescent moon hangs to the left of Mars on the 24th. Saturn and Neptune are in opposition, and Uranus remains close to the Pleiades star cluster, with both best observed in the early hours of the morning. Jupiter is catching up to Castor and Pollux in Gemini and is observable in the hours before dawn. Look for a beautiful waning crescent moon between the planet and the two bright stars on the morning of the 16th. As far as Venus, Venus appears within the same 10 by 50 binocular field of view as Regulus from the 14th to the 24th. However, there is a stunning view on the 19th. There is a triple conjunction of the crescent moon, Venus, and Regulus. Just 1 degree will separate the moon from the star, and Venus will be midway between them both, making this an unmissable sight for binoculars and telescopes at low magnification. Lastly, there's a full corn moon in Aquarius on the 7th and a new moon on the 21st. So while we were touring the planets, I mentioned that Saturn and Neptune are in conjunction. Let's talk a bit more about this event. With just 2 degrees separating Saturn and Neptune this month, it's little wonder both worlds are reaching opposition just 2 days apart among the faint star of Pisces. Saturn is first on the 21st when it shines at magnitude 0.7. Ordinarily, the planet would be brighter, but this year its rings are almost edge on, and since the rings are not reflecting nearly as much light, the planet is dimmer as a result. Compare that to Neptune, the most distant planet, which is a paltry magnitude 7.8 at opposition on the 23rd. While Saturn is easily visible to the naked eye, you'll need at least a pair of binoculars to detect Neptune. Similarly, Saturn always looks spectacular through a telescope, with rings and moons all easily seen, but Neptune will only show a tiny blue disk. So from our solar system, we're going to head far out into the depths of our galaxy, and we're going to take a look at a beautiful Messier object, specifically a globular cluster, Messier 15. Messier 15 is easily found close to Enif in Pegasus. This star cluster is bright enough to be seen with binoculars from suburban skies. A telescope around 35 times shows a comet-like hazy patch, and increasing the magnification to 100 times shows a bright core that extends 2/3 to the cluster's edge. Globular clusters are beautiful sights through any type of telescope, but the larger the better. Another great sight is a planetary nebula. Let's take a look at the next object on our tour tonight, Messier 27, the Dumbbell Nebula. Along with Messier 57, the Ring Nebula, the Dumbbell is one of the best planetary nebula to observe in the celestial northern hemisphere. It can be spotted with binoculars, while a telescope at low power will show the 2 lobes that give this nebula its name. I have been easily able to spot this with a 6-inch telescope in suburban skies, more specifically Bortle 7 skies. Now, if you have dark skies and or a large telescope, you'll definitely see some more contrast within the eyepiece. That said, M27 is a spectacular target for beginner, intermediate, and advanced astro viewers alike. Now we are going to stay within the category of planetary nebula for this next stop on our tour, but this one is a bit more challenging to view visually through a telescope. That said, it is a beautiful nebula to photograph, the Helix Nebula. NGC 7293, the Helix Nebula. This is another planetary nebula, and it is a more challenging telescopic target than either the Ring or Dumbbell. This is thanks to its relatively large apparent size in the night sky, which distributes its light over a wider area. A low magnification and an O3 filter will certainly help visually. If you are an astrophotographer, shooting this nebula through hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur filters will reveal the significant amount of structure within this beautiful planetary nebula. So from the Helix Nebula, we head on to the last stop of our tour, M11, the Wild Duck Cluster. Messier 11 can be found close to the tail feathers of Aquila the eagle and is readily seen with binoculars as a small compact patch with a star-like point. This cluster reveals its V-shape and a granular texture through a telescope at low power. Messier 11 or open star clusters in general are great targets for beginners as they're relatively easy to find and they consist of a lot of bright stars which are an absolute treat to view through an eyepiece. Well, that is it for our tour tonight. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, let us know. And if you've been able to view or photograph any of these objects that we've talked about tonight, let us know in the comments. What kind of skies were you viewing under? What kind of telescopes did you view these objects through? We'd love to hear from you guys. That said, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future What's in the Night Sky content or astrophotography gear product reviews. I'm Teagan with High Point. Clear skies.